Today's lesson is Dua Lipa, the big sister of pop. Hi, everybody. I'm Roger.
And I'm Mike.
And today we're going to talk about a popular musician by the name of Dua Lipa. That's an interesting name, Dua Lipa. And I believe she gave a concert in Taiwan fairly recently, so maybe you're familiar with her. Maybe she's got a really great live show. But, of course, she probably has lots of pop hits that you've heard before, and you want to learn more about her.
Absolutely, yeah. Very popular star. She's been around for quite a few years now. I mean, you know how time kind of goes by without noticing. But she really is probably very popular now, at her most popular compared to a few years ago. And you're right, she had a concert here out in Taoyuan at the end of last year. I was lucky enough to get to go, thanks to my wife. And not being a huge fan of her music, I still enjoyed the show. It was very good production value, good lighting, good show, good band, lots of dancing. And so I kind of get why people like her music. So we're going to be learning a lot about both her music career and the other things that Dua Lipa is doing, and also her very interesting history. So let's get into it. Dua Lipa, the big sister of pop. In a world of changing musical trends, Dua Lipa stands out with her straightforward style and confident energy. Her music, a catchy mix of dance, dark pop, and R&B, combines the charm of the past with a modern edge and attracts fans from around the world. But behind the awards and hit songs is a young woman known for her bold choices, feminist views, and passion for self-expression.
大家好，第一部分介绍片语 stand out， 它的意思是引人注目或是脱颖而出。例如 James's red hair made him stand out in the crowd. James 的红发让他在人群中引人注目。也可以说 Jenny stands out among her teammates for her dedication. Jenny 的努力让她在团队中脱颖而出。继续看到形容词 straightforward， 指人直率的或是坦率的。例如I appreciate people who are straightforward and honest in their communication. 我欣赏那些在沟通中直率又诚实的人。或者 Eric's answer was so straightforward that it surprised everyone in the room. Eric 的回答非常直白，让在场的每个人都感到惊讶。再来看到形容词 catchy， 表示吸引人的或是朗朗上口的。例如 The author spent days trying to think up a catchy title for his novel. 该作者花了好几天的时间为他的小说想出一个吸引人的标题。或是 Brent has been singing that catchy ad jingle all day long. Brent 一整天都在唱那首朗朗上口的广告歌。后面介绍形容词 feminist， 表示女权主义的。可以说 Alice studied feminist literature in college. Alice 大学时念过女性主义文学。又或者说The podcast focuses on feminist issues. 这个播客节目聚焦于女性主义议题上。
Okay, so the title says that Dua Lipa is the big sister of pop. We'll talk about that in just a couple of seconds. Here in the first part it says, in a world of changing musical trends, Dua Lipa stands out with her straightforward style and confident energy. Now, if you're like me, listening to pop radio or listening to the radio or songs on YouTube or whatever, the music does seem to be kind of going in all different directions. Sometimes hip-hop is popular. Sometimes you got Taylor Swift or other kinds of rock bands or whatever. So we've got all these changing musical trends, okay? Music just kind of changes all the time. You never really know where it's going. But here, Dua Lipa stands out because she has a straightforward style and she also has confident energy. So if something stands out, it is noticeable. It's not part of the background. You can really notice her style. You can notice her appearance, her songs, her singing style, etc. She stands out because she has this straightforward style. If you're straightforward, you're pretty much honest. You pretty much know what you're doing, and everybody can pretty much pick up on what you're doing. You are direct. You're not beating around the bush.
There you go. Everyone knows exactly what you're thinking because you say it straight up and very honestly. So it says her music, which is a catchy mix of dance, dark pop, and R&B, combines the charm of the past with a modern edge and attracts fans from around the world. So that's a pretty good description of her musical style if you're not already familiar with it. And several other artists, I think, would kind of fall under this description. It's a catchy mix of several music styles: dance music, electronic kind of music, dark pop, so pop with a bit of a moodier edge, not always I'm in love and I'm so happy and isn't the world wonderful, but with maybe some slightly darker themes, more minor chords versus major chords, if you want to talk about it from a musical point of view, and good old R&B, rhythm and blues, the sort of music that was inspired by African-American culture going back to the 1950s and, more importantly, the 60s and 70s. So that is a catchy mix. Something that is catchy is attractive to the ear. If you find yourself humming a tune, singing a tune in your head 1 hour after you heard the song, that's obviously a catchy song. In the same way that you can catch a cold, you can kind of catch something like music. It gets in your head, it kind of sticks in your head. It's very memorable and enjoyable to sing or to hum or just to listen to.
Yeah, something's catchy, of course, as you said, if it's something that you can hear and repeat, like that song they played over and over last year, Apato or something like that. Apato, wapato.
Oh, the APT, yes.
Yeah, that's very catchy. And here she has a catchy mix of different styles here, as you said, dance, dark pop, and R&B. These all combine the charm of the past with a modern edge or modern sensibilities, modern style, and attracts fans from around the world. So she's popular in her native Kosovo or in the UK or in the US or here in Taiwan. She's just popular all over the place.
Absolutely. And that charm of the past, I think that might also relate to the fact that she uses some well-known samples. There's one of her hit songs is based on Need You Tonight by the Australian band In Excess, a 90s hit. And one of her big hits, of course, was based on Rocket Man, the Elton John song from the 1970s. So she kind of takes some of these melodies and even lyrics from old songs, mixes them with modern stuff to give it a modern edge or a modern feeling to it. And this attracts fans from around the world. I was kind of appreciative of this, not knowing her music that well at the concert. I'm like, oh, this is based on that song. I like that song. Oh, this is based on that Elton John song. I like that song.
You mean she's sampling those songs?
She's kind of sampling them and sort of remixing them in some ways. And with the Elton John one, she was actually singing it with Elton John, using one of his melodies, but to create a new song. So almost like a remix, but sampling very heavily and kind of leaning on some of these famous riffs and licks and stuff from pop hits of the past. But behind the awards and hit songs is a young woman known for her bold choices, feminist views, and passion for self-expression. She definitely comes across as one of those stars who's doing it her own way. You don't get the feeling there's like a team of men kind of managing her from a boardroom or an executive office somewhere. She kind of seems to be doing what she likes to do. So she's got bold choices with her fashion, with her videos, with her performance style. Her feminist views, a very outspoken young woman and also a great supporter of other female artists and other female entrepreneurs and people out there. And passion for self-expression. As we said, you always know what she's thinking. She is very sort of open with her attitudes and ideas. And I think a lot of fans these days find that very refreshing and engaging. So let's find out about her history, where she was born and when, and that even has its own interesting story. So let's check it out. Lipa was born in London in 1995 to parents who had escaped the war in Kosovo, but the family later moved back there. However, when Lipa was 15, the levitating singer persuaded her parents to let her return to the UK on her own. Lipa made this brave choice in order to attend the Sylvia Young Theatre School and pursue a career in music.
第二部分看到动词 persuade， 它的意思是说服、劝服或是使相信。例如 Laura persuaded her friends to go shopping with her. 劳尔说服他朋友们陪他去逛街。再看一个例子 Ben tried to persuade me to watch a baseball game with him. Ben 试着说服我跟他一起去看棒球赛。
Okay, so again, we're talking about Dua Lipa in today's program. She was born in London in 1995 to parents who had escaped the war in Kosovo, but the family later moved back there. So if you've been following the news, or if you had been following the news back in the 90s, you know there were some kind of conflicts in Kosovo. So there was a war there. She probably was a refugee, and they went to London to live, which London's a great town. You know, it's got the London Bridge and Big Ben, and you can have afternoon tea and stuff like that, so they decided to go there. But later they decided to move back. England's a great place. We love it, but hey, it's cloudy and rainy all the time, and it's expensive to live there. I understand that housing is hard to find in London as well. So they decided to go back and explore their roots in Kosovo. They later went back, but later she realized that, hey, I have more business opportunities, or I have more opportunities to become a big star if I go back to the UK, and that's what she later did.
Absolutely. However, it says when Lipa was 15 years old, the levitating singer persuaded her parents to let her return to the UK on her own. Wow, those parents must have had a lot of confidence in her. Around the age of 15, she kind of convinced her parents that I really want to be a pop star and I'm not going to become famous here in Kosovo. I should go back to London where the music industry is, that kind of thing. And they agreed. Still a bold choice, a bold thing to do. The levitating singer, there we're just using one of the names of her hit songs, Levitating. So that doesn't really have anything to do with her move at the age of 15, just reminding us of one of her hit songs. And she persuaded her parents. She did a very good job of persuading her parents, because when you persuade someone, you use your words to change their mind. You're trying to get someone to agree with you or to go along with your plan. And the idea here is that you're not saying, hey, I have this idea, and your friend says, okay, right away. No, your friend says, I don't know about that. And that's when the persuading starts. That's when you start to say, but think about it. This is going to be good, and here are the reasons why, and here's why we should do it. And eventually you change your friend's mind. You change their way of thinking. You change their opinion. Politics is the art of persuasion. That would be the noun form, to change people's minds, to get them to go along with your plan because it's a good plan and you present it in a convincing way. And that's what she did. She persuaded her parents, who I'm sure were probably like at first, no way, you're 15, you're not moving to London on your own. And then after an hour of her explaining why it's the best idea ever, her parents were like, okay, you can go to London, so good job. She could have been a lawyer or a politician, I think, if she has those kinds of skills. And so Lipa made this brave choice, this brave and bold choice as this 15-year-old girl to move to London on her own and to attend the Sylvia Young Theatre School and pursue a career in music. So she went to a sort of performance art school, a theater school, where I'm sure singing and dancing were probably part of the program as well, the Sylvia Young Theatre School, and she pursued a career in music. When you pursue something, it could be chasing after something in the way that a cat might pursue a mouse or the police might pursue a criminal, but it can also just be to go after something in your life that is a challenge, that is a difficult thing, but it's an objective you want to achieve or to reach. And we often use this with education or with career. I pursued a career in law. I pursued a career in medicine by going to medical school and then working in a hospital. I'm going after something to try to reach a certain goal.
And indeed, of course, we know that she later became successful, but it kind of makes me wonder how many people had the same idea. I'm going to move to London to become a star. Maybe only 1 out of 1,000 people who do that are actually successful, but we only hear about the success stories. Yep. We don't hear about the failures.
They're all working as waiters in restaurants.
They still are, or they have already returned to Kosovo or Albania or wherever it is they're from. Liverpool or maybe Scotland, who knows. Okay, that brings us to the end of the second part of our lesson for today. Let's talk some more about Dua Lipa in the third and final part.
During her studies, the future star developed her talents by posting cover songs on YouTube. At the same time, she worked as a model and waitress to support herself. In 2017, her infectious breakup anthem, New Rules, shot her to global fame. And since then, a steady stream of hits has won her several major music awards.
第三部分介绍形容词 infectious， 指有感染力的或是能引起共鸣的。举例来说 ，Polly has an infectious laugh。Polly 拥有具感染力的笑声，或是 Jessie's infectious enthusiasm inspired us to continue working hard on our project. Jessie 具有感染力的乐观个性，激励我们继续为专案努力。下一个看到片语 shoot to fame， 表示一举成名，迅速爆红。例如 The singer shot to fame after her performance on the talent show went viral. 这位歌手在选秀节目上的表演爆红后，一举成名。也可以说 This band shot to fame among younger populations with their electric musical style. 这个乐团以其电子音乐风格在年轻人中一举成名。最后看到形容词 steady， 表示持续不断的或是稳定的。可以说 A light steady rain fell all day. 持续不停的毛毛雨下了一整天。最后一个例子 The travelers maintained a steady pace as they walked. 旅客们步行时维持着稳定的脚步。
Okay, in the third part here, again, we're talking about her attending the Sylvia Young Theater School, where she is pursuing a career in music. And during her studies, while she was studying there, the future star developed her talents by posting cover songs on YouTube. I'm sure lots of people do this. It's a great place to get yourself known, do a performance, videotape yourself playing the guitar or with your band or whatever, and put the songs on YouTube in the hopes that some record company or whatever will hear your song or whatever, and they'll think, wow, this is the next best thing. Let me call that person and offer them a recording contract.
There you go. I think Justin Bieber is probably one of the first people to famously do this, but many stars since have done that, and it's also just a good way to practice your craft, right? Recording and singing in a professional way. At the same time, it says she worked as a model and waitress to support herself, two classic things that young people get to do or try to do before their entertainment career takes off. She's a very attractive lady, so she can work as a model, and working as a waiter or a waitress in a restaurant is something that a lot of people do at the beginning of their entertainment career. It's a way of making some money, having some income while you go off and do auditions and work on your demo tapes or that kind of thing. Waiters, waitresses, working in any kind of service industry. Also because a lot of those jobs you can pick your time to work, so you might have free time during the day to go to auditions and then work in the restaurant in the evening. You still got to make some money before you're famous. But then eventually, it says in 2017, her infectious breakup anthem, New Rules, shot her to global fame, and since then a steady stream of hits has won her several major music awards. I feel safe in assuming that since 2017 she has not served food to a table since then, because that's when she had her first hit song. This is an infectious breakup anthem, and the title of the song is New Rules, if you want to try to find that song to listen to it. Sounds like it'd be a good song. It's infectious, which is another way of saying catchy, so it's the kind of song that you hear at once, and then you'll find yourself sort of humming or whistling that tune. It gets stuck in your head. It catches on. We talk about diseases being infectious, right? If it's easy to catch. Or a smile or a laugh can be infectious. If someone starts laughing and then you just find yourself enjoying how much they're enjoying it, then you might start laughing as well. It spreads. It catches on around the place. There's something very appealing about it to a lot of different people. And this is a breakup anthem. That's kind of interesting because you wouldn't think of something about an emotional period of your life, the end of a relationship or a breakup, as being kind of the way to get an infectious song or a catchy pop song. It might be sad, it might be meaningful and powerful, but for it to be infectious is kind of interesting. But yeah, breakup anthem. Well, many songs are about the end of a relationship, right? My heart is broken, I'll never love again. That kind of idea. And an anthem, well, that's just a type of song. Technically, an anthem might be something from a religious service, this kind of song you might hear in a church, or of course we also think of national anthems, the country's song. Oh, say can you see? That would be the U.S. national anthem, but we can also use it as a song that just sort of appeals to a lot of people, and this kind of might be the song that everyone or lots of people would go and listen to when they're going through a breakup, when they're going through that time in their life. Think of the Celine Dion song All by Myself, and think of all the different people over all the different generations who've listened to that song when they're going through a breakup. If you hear that song coming from your neighbor's window, you might go, uh-oh, someone's going through a breakup, because I'm hearing that breakup anthem, that song that is very closely connected to a certain idea or a certain certain theme or something like that. So New Rules is a great song to listen to when you're having a breakup, and it was a great song for Dua Lipa. It shot her to global fame. She became very famous very quickly. The song rose up the pop charts in just a few weeks, and suddenly everyone was saying, have you heard this Dua Lipa song? She's so great. And since then, it says a steady stream of hits, or a regular, reliable stream of hits. As something is steady, it's reliable, it's regular, it's always there, it keeps on coming. And these hits that she's had, many of them over the years, have won her several major music awards.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that we've introduced the word steady here. If you're in a relationship with somebody, you could say you're going steady with somebody, although that's kind of an old term. We don't really use that anymore, but it's kind of interesting because that song was about breaking up with somebody, and of course she didn't have to turn back after she became famous. She probably quit her job that very week and never looked back and never went back to that restaurant again. Okay, we're at the end of our discussion for today. Here comes Hanny.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第一部分最后一句提到 Behind the awards and hit songs is a young woman known for her bold choices, feminist views, and passion for self-expression. 在奖项与畅销歌曲的背后，是一位以大胆选择、女权观点与对自我表达的热情闻名的年轻女性。好，在这个句子里 Behind the awards and hit songs 是主词补语， is 是动词， A young woman 是主词，那它之后用到了分词片语 known for 点点点来修饰这个主词，所以简单来说啊，这个句子结构是主词补语加上 be 动词加主词，那么主词后面带有修饰语，而这是把主词补语提前的倒装句。我们来学习这样的用法。当句子里面的主词带有比较长的修饰语时，或者是要强调主词补语时，我们可以把主词补语移到句首，再将主词和动词倒装。那以句型来看，直述句的基本句型是主词加 be 动词加主词补语。那补语可以是现在分词 VING、过去分词 PP 或是形容词、介系词、片语等等。我们把主词补语移到句首，然后经过倒装，句型就变成了主词补语加 be 动词加主词。同学们有没有注意到，其实就是把主词跟主词补语对调就可以了。好，举例来说 A woman wearing a red dress is standing by the side of the stage. 我们把主词补语 standing by the side of the stage 移到句首，然后经过倒装就会变成 Standing by the side of the stage is a woman wearing a red dress. 站在舞台旁的是一名身穿红色洋装的女子。好，课文第三部分提到，在2017年 Dua Lipa 那一首充满感染力的分手颂歌 New Rules 让她一举成名，红遍了全球。那文中用到 break up 是当名词表示分手，把这个字拆开 break up 可以当不及物片语动词来表达分手， break up with somebody 就是和某人分手。好，这边顺便补充片语动词 break up 的其他用法哦。第一个，它可以表达打电话这是听不清的，声音是断断续续的。举例来说 You're breaking up, I'll call you back later. 你的声音断断续续的，我等一下打电话给你。好，第二个 break up 它可以表达使结束、制止或是使分解破碎，它可以当及物或不及物用。特别注意，用 break up 来表达终止、制止的语义时，常常是针对斗殴啊、示威等等的活动。像 break up a fight 就表示制止争斗或打架。好，那么第三个，在口语当中 break up 有捧腹大笑的意思，就跟 crack up 意思差不多。例如 The joke always breaks her up 或是 The joke always cracks her up， 那个笑话总是会让她捧腹大笑。好，那以上是今天重点整理，我们来回顾今天的单字吧。
Straightforward. Larry likes people who are straightforward and mean what they say. Catchy. A catchy title can attract more readers to a report or article. Feminist. Dr. Kim explained how feminist movements changed voting rights. Persuade. Floyd hopes that he can finally persuade his parents to let him study abroad. Pursue. Hilda worked hard every day to pursue her long-term goals. steady. Arthur has impressed his soccer coach with his steady progress in developing his skills.
Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of our program, and please make sure you join us again next time. From all of us here, I am Roger.
I am Mike.
See you next time.